Welcome to Ditch Auto. My name's Jared, and today we're going to talk about whether or not the Osmo Pocket is worth it. Now, I picked this up because I seem to have a thing with gimbal cameras, and I absolutely wanted to try it out because I've had, I think, just about every gimbal camera that DJI has, and they're always, I think, a few steps ahead of where they need to be, which is probably why a lot of the products don't ever hit like mainstream, essentially. Like, you don't see people running around with a DJI Osmo Pocket. You might occasionally see someone post about it online or whatever, but it's mostly people reviewing and talking about stuff like me. So the Osmo Pocket, let's talk about a few of the specs. It's 12 megapixel camera, f2.0 lens with an 80-degree field of view. It has a limited ISO sensitivity with a maximum of 3200, which makes this really start to sound like a cell phone camera, essentially. It has 4K 60p, and of course it has various shooting modes like time-lapse and motion-lapse and stuff like that, slow motion, which makes it kind of cool. But it doesn't have any color modes in video, so you can't try to like really color match it to any other camera that you have. Like, for example, if you were shooting a flat profile so that you can edit the footage off of this together with something else. It doesn't have an exchangeable or interchangeable battery. It does charge USB-C at the bottom. Doesn't have any mounting whatsoever at all, with the exception of the little plug that goes into your phone, which does not provide the best mounting. It's not the best mounting solution. You're just basically sticking something into your phone and it's hanging off the edge. Of course, there's accessories that are going to come out, and there are people selling stuff on Amazon and eBay that will work. But in my opinion, like, something should come set up to use in a variety of different circumstances. I know that this is the Osmo Pocket. It's meant to be put in your pocket. But what about actually even just standing it up and using it? Like, if you stand it up on the table here, it is very wobbly, and any bump is going to send this thing toppling over. Another thing that having a mount like a 1/4 on the bottom of it would do is allow you to use some sort of little mini tripod, like maybe the Manfrotto Pixie or something like that, so that you can kind of set it on an uneven terrain and not worry about it toppling over. This thing is extremely useless unless you're using it in your hand. And if you're wanting to do a time lapse, time lapses are not fun handheld, and they're also not fun to watch handheld either. So those are things that basically just kind of kick this out as an option. I would rather, if I would rather use my phone for a time lapse, because I can use my phone and use some sort of a phone holder to prop it up. Of course, this does have the gimbal that allows it to pan and do some cool things like that. You get increased stabilization over a standard optical stabilization that you would get in a phone. So there are some things that do set this apart from a smartphone. But is it worth $350? And that's really the question that I have. Is this is a $350 piece of equipment that does essentially what your phone could already do or a GoPro can already do, and the only difference that it has is that it does have a gimbal essentially here. The micro SD card goes in the side here. It's not a very well sealed piece of equipment, so I don't recommend getting this anywhere near moisture whatsoever. I'm glad that it's USB Type-C. That's modern. The screen that's on it is a square screen, which makes it challenging for you to properly frame up your shots. If you're like me, sometimes you want to place somebody and maybe if you're familiar with the rule of thirds, where you kind of split the screen up into a grid, you want to place somebody over on the side. It's actually a little challenging to do that using the little tiny mini screen on here. Yes, I could plug it into my phone and utilize it that way, but it's not a very intuitive, well, I don't want to say intuitive, it's not a very comfortable experience to have it plugged into the side of your phone, because now you're essentially holding your phone, which could have done some of this already, and just so that you can get a bigger screen. And then there's the thing of, if you use any case other than a thin, super thin one like the Apple leather case, which is what I use, specifically because I've been using the Osmo, that will fit essentially. But if you use any other case, you're gonna have to take your case off just to use it. Now, I've also thought about putting together a video on maybe more practical ways to use the Osmo Pocket, because you can actually plug in like an extension cable between this and hold your phone separately from the Osmo Pocket, but that also is kind of a junky experience. Now you've got a gimbal over here that you're trying to keep still, and you've got a phone over here and they're not attached, and it's not a here's the proper use of, it's not an intuitive experience to use it that way. I also thought about maybe building some sort of a little rig where it holds the Osmo Pocket and the phone, and then it has like maybe a little handle, and I can use all this together. But then I'm getting to the size of a regular gimbal. I can easily go and get a gimbal for $100 or more or less. Probably some of the more expensive phone gimbals are still cheaper than this. Think of the DJI's own Osmo Mobile is an option. There's also the Cinema Robot from FreeFly Systems, the Movi, which I think is fantastic. Like, if you're going to carry a piece of equipment, you might as well just use what you have already and just add to that. And so, of course, this camera, I can't say that it's a total waste, because it is great. I mean, it's a lot of fun to use. I had a lot of fun playing with it. I just found a lot of limitations, considering the fact that this is $350 and it's going to require a smartphone that we already have that can do just about everything that this does. The screen on it is so tiny, it's going to be hard for you to keep shots framed up properly unless you're pretty far back and the subject is small in the shot. But then that's a bummer, because your subject is really small. You're backing away so that your subject is more likely to stay in frame. So I really can't think of any good reasons to own the Osmo Pocket, other than the fact that you just want something that is better than a GoPro. Say, for example, you have a GoPro and you chest mount it or you helmet mount it on a gimbal as well, so that you get that extra smooth looking footage. This is where you might save some money by picking up one of these. Now, I know this is a GoPro competitor. The GoPro Hero 7 has really good software stabilization built in, whereas this has some software stabilization, but it also has the gimbal on it that makes for really smooth footage. So if you're thinking about, do I buy a GoPro versus do I buy the Osmo Pocket, it really also comes down to your use case. The GoPro is going to be water resistant for, if you're doing more extreme things. The potential of getting it wet isn't going to hurt it, whereas with this, there's so many opened things on it, I would be afraid to get it wet, even if it does have a little bit of a rating against dust and whatnot. So I don't know, I just can't highly recommend the Osmo Pocket, even though I absolutely love this little device. It's so cool looking. When you power it on, the gimbal kind of snaps around and looks around and just looks up and down. It's kind of neat, just to watch it power up and down. Then when you turn it off, it actually rotates and goes into a position so that you can insert it right into the case. And I think that's cool. I mean, there's definitely a lot of things that they thought about. There's a little slot here, so in the case, so you can keep your port deal on there. Of course, then that's smashing up against stuff. If you have it, I put this in the dash of my truck, and things can hit that. It does have the USB-C port exposed at the bottom, so you can continue to charge it. Hey, what's up? It's Jerad, and testing the audio on the Osmo Pocket. I don't know. I mean, I know that it sounds like that I'm hating on this device. I absolutely don't hate it. I had a lot of fun playing with it. But the problem is that if I'm going to carry something on me that's pocketable, it needs to be highly flexible. And if I have to carry some sort of adapter bracket, which when DJI actually does start shipping their little adapter bracket, it's not going to fit in the case, so that's something that you're going to have to keep separate. And this is classic DJI. They require extra accessories to do things, but they're not going to fit in the case that they provided. So now you're going to need to carry something else. You probably want to carry a little mini tripod as well. Well, that's something else you're going to have to keep on you. And if you want better audio than what's included, they don't offer anything like that. The GoPro one does work, but that's even more stuff that you're carrying around with you. Just to get better quality content out of a little device like this. So this very much, I think, was designed and intended to be used in your hand as an alternative to holding up your phone and carrying your phone around. But the benefits that your phone has is the larger display, which is of course why they put this port on here, so you could plug your phone into the side of it. But now you have a phone and a gimbal, and it's a much bigger package when there are other alternatives out there that are pretty close to the same size, if not maybe a little bit bigger, and are going to give you more options than the Pocket combined with a smartphone. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I think that there are use cases for a camera like this. If you are a techie like me and you just like to try things out, you're absolutely going to enjoy the experience with this camera. The new DJI Mimo app is pretty cool. It allows you to easily go in and edit and build out a little video. So I do like what they're doing there. They're definitely trying to encroach quickly on GoPro's leftover market share, you know, and DJI is definitely doing a good job of that. But I just don't think that the Osmo Pocket is going to be something that people are going to say like, I'm not going to buy the next version of the GoPro over, because there's moving parts on here. I don't believe that it's submergible without, you know, risking. I definitely wouldn't. And of course, there's really no way to mount it until the accessories come out. And then, like I said, you're carrying more and more stuff on you. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Have you tried one of these? I definitely recommend going somewhere that sells it and playing with one. It is a lot of fun. I just, if you're thinking about putting out $350 for a pocket camera gimbal, definitely think about the different ways that you're going to want to use it, and consider the limitations that this camera does have right now before you spend your money. If you are going to buy one, definitely use the link down in the description below, because it helps support our channel here, keeps the lights on and all of that good stuff, and I appreciate that. You can always just use the link anyways, and head on over to Amazon and make any of your purchases there. It helps support our channel here. Which is very much not about marketing. It's about, you know, talking about whether something is useful or not. And I'm not going to get on here and talk something up unless I feel there's true value in it. And though this is a cool device and it's a lot of neat technologies in it, it's just not something that's practical for my use cases, and I wanted to share that with all of you. So subscribe to the channel if you want more videos from us here at Ditch Auto. Click the little bell next to it to be notified when we put out new ones. And like I said, share your thoughts down in the comment section below. I'd love to interact with you there, and I hope to see you in the next one.